Now we are going to look at the correct answers to the exercises you did based on the Cloze test. So exercise 4, Cloze test. At the end of this session, you will be able to answer questions on Cloze test. Now remember the first passage. The Bhagavad Gita is a poem of 700 verses, which is a part of Mahabharata. It is the only philosophical song existing in all languages. These two sentences have no blanks. Its popularity and influence have never waned. Even this sentence has no blank. So the third sentence, which leads on to the first three sentences, says, it dash light and guidance to the troubled mind in times of crisis. It dash light and guidance. So it is obvious in this sentence that in the blank you have a verb which has to be in the present tense, because it is something which is a universal truth. So the subject of the sentence is it, therefore the verb in present tense should have yes. But this clue is not going to be of much help to us, because all the options are verbs with yes. Nevertheless, we have to see as per meaning which is the most appropriate option. It provides, it shines, it enforces, it secures, it seeks. Obviously, it provides a light and guidance to the troubled mind in times of crisis. So the best option is provides. Option A, provides. To the troubled mind, it is not just providing light and guidance to an individual in Mahabharata. The author says it provides light and guidance to any troubled mind in times of crisis. Now, the next sentence says it is the dash of a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna on the battlefield. There are different forms of literature. Now, some parts of this can be in the form of a narration. But here, this is a sort of dialogue. It is in the dash of a dialogue. Program of a dialogue? No. Constitution of a dialogue? Inappropriate. Part of a dialogue? Formation of a dialogue? Form of a dialogue. So the correct option is option E. It is in the form of a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna on the battlefield. Arjuna's mind is troubled at the thought of killing his friends and relatives. He cannot conceive of a gain. So he is at a loss. Now, how to take up this task? Arjuna is the dash of the tortured spirit of man, torn by conflicting obligations and moralities. That is one of the reasons for the popularity of Bhagavad Gita. You don't look at it as the story of an individual. It is the story of anyone who is in that situation. It is the dash of the tortured spirit of man. It represents the spirit of the man who is tortured by conflicting obligations. Now, which word in these options represents? It is a representation. Conceived, dream, source, figures, symbol. Option E, symbol. It is the symbol of the tortured spirit of man, torn by conflicting obligations and moralities. The dialogue proceeds and it takes us to the higher level of individual duty and social behavior, application of ethics to practical life and social outlook that should govern all. Now, the next sentence, an attempt is dash to reconcile the three paths of human advancement: the path of knowledge, the path of action, and the path of love. Action, faith, and knowledge are going to be reconciled. An attempt is dash. Now, for reconciliation, an attempt is generated? No. An attempt is made, an attempt is established, an attempt is coined, an attempt is given. Obvious choice is option B. An attempt is made in Bhagavad Gita to reconcile the three paths of human advancement, the path of knowledge, the path of faith. Now, the next sentence says, more dash is laid on faith. Out of the three, more dash is laid on faith. The verb laid is laid. That is the clue. There is a call of action to meet the obligations of life, keeping in view the spiritual background and the large purpose of the universe. But more dash, more important, is wrong. If it is importance, it may be considered. It is important, so it's wrong. More significant, that is also wrong. More declaration is meaningless. More emphasis, which means importance, which means stress. Therefore, the correct option here is option D, but more emphasis is laid on faith. There is a call of action to meet the obligations of life, keeping in view the spiritual background and the large purpose of the universe. In the lesson on Cloze test, it was instructed for the examinees to first go through the entire passage before answering the first blank. Now, that way you will be guided easily to shortlist your choice of the options.